day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins. This is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Don't forget, like and subscribe. It's my YouTube channel wherein I listen to the music of the day and cast a dad rock ear perspective on it. It's the most important of all perspectives. We should cherish our elders, and I'm one of them. Another elder is a person I'm going to discuss today, Gary Barlow, and the reason why it's a legit subject is because he's got a whole Christmas album out. I'm going to focus on one particular song, which is probably the single. It's called How Christmas Is Supposed to Be. It's a collaboration with Sheridan Smith. Now, before we get into the song, I've just got to say, Sheridan Smith, she has a hall pass. She can do anything she likes for one reason and one reason alone. She was in Jonathan Creek. Now, those of you that are aware of Jonathan Creek and have seen it will understand why that's okay. Once you've been in Jonathan Creek, you can do no wrong, in my book. Although, having said that, How Christmas Is Supposed to Be, it is like the video, when you watch the video of it, it's a cringe fest, okay?
I've given all I've got, you've given me nothing.
But maybe that's what Christmas videos are supposed to be. I'm just going to... The opening scene is they're decorating a tree and talking to each other. But then as the camera pans out, you realise that they've decorated both sides of the tree in contrasting ways because they just don't agree.
It's hard to find some light. It's a war, it's a fight.
They can't see eye to eye on anything. And it's Christmas time. The whole idea of the song is, this isn't how Christmas is supposed to be. And then after like two choruses after two choruses and then a section which we're going to call the instrumental break, but actually it sounds like some synthesizer trumpets doing some fairly trad stuff that you could probably dance to in a kitchen. After that it goes back to the chorus, and at that point they've established that this is how Christmas is supposed to be when they're putting their differences to one side. I think that's the gist of the lyric, really, and they've realised that to the most cringeworthy potential in the video itself. Gary Barlow in this video has two different colours of hair. Nearer the roots, I would say, and from about... I know I'm obsessed with this, but the widow's peak, just under the widow's... Well, here's the widow's peak, I suppose. And these scalloped areas here, which expose more age-appropriate flesh, just underneath there, it turns grey. Above that, it's kind of mouse ginger, and I don't know how he's done it. There's about 4 or 5 different shades in his beard. It needs a bit of attention, I would say. His eyebrows are still dazzlingly dark, and as we've seen on some of his... did you see any of those crooner sessions he did on his Instagram? I watched them for a morbid fascination in the same way that you might stare at a car crash when he's singing with people like Peter Andre, who's a lovely guy. He's really a lovely person. But, you know, these two they seem to be billing themselves as soul legends, and they're collaborating on an Instagram story with Gary Barlow pretending to play a keyboard. They're singing Signed, Sealed and Delivered by Stevie Wonder, which is one of my favourite songs. So, obviously, in my view, they're murdering it.
Peter, I'm so ready. What a tune.
And they have the demeanour of two soul legends, and they're not that, you know. Much as I love Gary Barlow because he's a human man of 50 and he's achieved so many things, and he's an OBE as well, he's a Knight of the Realm almost, so, you know, I respect. He's true establishment. I mean, the punk rock side of me wants to hate him, but he's just so lovable and hapless, you know. It's like I don't know, he's like Clouseau or something like that. He's just so embarrassing, it's kind of alright, really. He's just like somebody's dad, like an embarrassing dad. That's what he is. It's embarrassing dad Barlow. I kind of hate him, but I can't really. What I do hate, and I have to say this, is the way he tries to perpetuate the narrative that he is the talented one who writes the songs. Like, he's always sitting at a piano. He might not be playing the piano. He should really be dancing with the rest of the people in his man band. But he decides to sit because, I'll be in charge of the music, guys. Here's where the music comes out of. I'll play this, you know. I think musicians around the world are going to see through that. There's one piece of footage which I'd like you to try and cut into this if it's possible. They did try and bury it. It was on YouTube and then it went away. It was them performing on... it was Take That performing on the X Factor or something. One of the things where Robbie Williams was at the panel casting a vote on whether people were talented or not. And Take That did a performance of the song called Shine. That's the one that goes, hey, you're such a big star to me, and I want you to be nice, nice, nice. And it's all sort of delivered in a Charleston 20s style, but essentially it's shit. So they're doing all this stuff, and then that song finishes, and then, hang on a minute, Robbie's going to get up and rejoin Take That. This is a staggering moment. But, again, to reinforce the I think, misconception that he's like an amazing musical mind, he then turns to a collection of session musicians, some of the greatest musicians ever. I know the bass player is Lee Pomeroy. I've worked with him before. I've never seen a musician like that before. This guy's astounding. He doesn't need Gary Barlow to do this, but he turns and shouts 1, 2, 3, 4, and literally points at these musicians. Then some pre-recorded backing vocals for the song Everything Changes comes up, and it's like, hang on a minute, who's he counting in? Is he counting in the guy that's operating the DAT machine? How? Why? And it's really embarrassing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
But embarrassing moments aside, let's have a look at his Christmas song, because, embarrassing dads doing Christmas songs, that's what Christmas is all about nowadays, isn't it? In the absence of a good Christmas song, we're going to analyse Gary Barlow's. Okay, so the melody I'm going to play it in a slightly different... What's the lyric? Here we go. Watch me for the changes. I've given all I've got. And then Sheridan Smith says, you've given me nothing, something to believe in, sleepless nights. Pedaling on a C chord. Now, immediately that reminds me, that's a catchy verse. You know why? It's because it's this. Remember you're a womble, remember you're a womble, remember you're a womble. Remember you're a womble. Which was written by Mike Batt, I think, and he's just he wrote some brilliant Christmas songs, actually, whilst doing the wombles. So anyway, yes, wombling, remember you're a womble is the verse.
What a tune!
Right, here's the clever bit. This is a little bit that makes me think, hang on a second, maybe there is something to his musicianship. Voices way too loud, emotions up and down, searching hard to find some light. That's the pre-chorus. So it goes from a G minor, but it's a G minor 7, to a D minor 7, which is a lovely chord anyway. But then it goes back to a straight G, which is a major chord. There's some real sadness in that meandering... it goes down a semitone and up a tone for the lift into the chorus, and he matches that lighter major chord with a line about searching hard to find some light. That's almost, and I hate to say it, Leonard Cohen-esque in its the symbiosis between the what's that called again? They correlate, don't they? Yeah, so it goes positive as they start talking about the light in this terrible thing. So then it goes, it's a war, it's a fight on the worst of all nights. Wonderful Christmas time. It's not that, no. It's not red that we want to see. And you almost want to hear it back and back go, ooh, ooh, ooh. What's that then? Back to the D minor 7. Christmas is supposed to be. So that's how it goes. So it's one of those choruses where it's not anthemic enough in the main body of it to be a sort of Christmas song like that. You know, I feel like a Christmas song should be like Last Christmas. Should kick off with something about Christmas. Our one goes Christmas time. How about Christmas time? Mistletoe and wine, children singing Christian rhyme. You know, you lead with the Christmas bit. Let's get the Christmas stuff out of the way, but he's done it at the end, which I think will be the downfall. I think that's the main reason why it's not going to beat Ed and Elton, or it hasn't been beating Ed and Elton. What else is there to say? I've seen some footage of Gary Barlow meeting royalty, and I just think that he was playing at the Royal Variety performance, and then he was sort of on the red carpet. Oh, and here comes Wills and Kate and Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. What do I do? And then he goes, "Hiya, how you doing? You're right," like that, and shakes their hand and speaks to them in this really sort of informal way. And it was just sort of, it made me want to be sick in my mouth a little bit. And then he said, "Hope it's not too loud for you out there." And William, of course, has recently come out and said that he starts his week by listening to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. So for him to be asked by Gary Barlow if the music is too loud at the Royal Variety performance, it just makes me cringe a little bit.
Hello, man. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I hope you enjoy tonight. I hope it's not too loud.
So regardless of how embarrassing we think Gary Barlow is, I think we tolerate a lot of this stuff, not just because he's the establishment, but actually because of the reason why he has become the establishment. I mean, he's credited as having written Back for Good, the Take That hit, well, one of the many Take That hits, and I think that's a really legendary bit of songwriting. It's fantastic. Shortly after that, they did a cover of the Bee Gees' How Deep Is Your Love, another amazing song. But actually, Back for Good stands up to that. Could almost be the same writer. So I think if you're in the kind of frame of mind where you're doing Bee Gees covers, maybe you sit at the piano and then, as I've often suspected, a song passes you in the ether and you pluck it or you catch it in the piano net. Maybe he was just on the same vibration as Barry Gibb or the brothers Gibb. I mean, at the time I couldn't believe that he'd written it because it's so far and above everything else that Take That released in terms of the song. And even as individuals, everything pales into insignificance compared to Back for Good. It's a great song. I can even play it. I guess now it's time for me to give up. I feel it's time. You know, anybody can do that. It's just brilliant. It's a standard. It's an actual standard. So to have written a standard and all that other Take That shit, I mean, it's really the song that pops out for me. And I think makes all of his catalogue worthwhile, and makes this. I mean, that's the reason why we still care. I think he gave us something magical, which just sounds like a Bee Gees song. It's incredible, especially that middle eight. We'll be together. How's it go? This time it's forever. No more fighting, and forever we will be so complete in our love. We will never be uncommon again. That's Bee Gees. And I love the Bee Gees. But then again, you know, this is why I wanted to try and sort of approach the Christmas song with no prejudice, really, because if I did approach it with prejudice, I'd have to say, well, it's Gary Barlow's got an eyebrow with a mind of its own, 2 different coloured hair, and he says, "Hi, how you doing? You're right," to royalty. I would want to hate it, but actually, because of that -7 to major in the pre-chorus, I think it's pretty good. That's actually a good little bit of writing. It loses its way a bit after that, and it becomes less. It's one of those choruses that relies on a huge payoff, and then I don't think it really gets it. It's not going to beat Elton and Ed. It's not going to be a classic, but it has got "Remember You're a Womble." So I happen to believe that, you know, songs exist in the ether, and if Gary Barlow is sitting at his piano and one's flying past, there's no reason why he shouldn't pluck it from the air and make it his own. When he was in a boy band, he wrote that one song, that one song that really matters, back for good. Take that. This song isn't as good as that, but you know, he's still sitting there at the piano, he's still looking for those songs, and he's grabbing them and he's doing something nice with them. Listen to that, that's great, isn't it? What a chord sequence. And he's smart enough to add a light lyric when it goes to the major. So yeah, I think kudos to Gary. That's actually a good little bit of compositional. It's a good compositional exercise to try and make the music match the words almost. Regardless of how embarrassing he is in other areas, I sort of respect that pre-chorus. The chorus needs a bigger payoff. That's too bad. Come and see The Darkness. We wrote a real Christmas song. Like and subscribe. Cheers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Preston Hawkins rides again. Remember, you're a one-ball.